Welcome all of you. Myself Pralhad Sir, welcoming you in the Dnyanadeep's PYQ series. Today we are going to see one more question in the social justice subject. Before that, as usual, we are going to revise it the previous segments in the less than 1 minute. What we have up till now studied about the answer writing session. Let's revise it. What is the first step? First step is understanding of question. Understand the question carefully. Until you understand it carefully, do not go or move forward. Read it number of times. Now students queries are regarding that how sir we practice in such a way that so that our understanding would be improved. So best way to do it is download the PYQ papers and daily try to understand the 5 to 10 questions. Okay. In this way, you will be able to understand it more comprehensively, more right way within a less time. The more time you taken for understanding, the less time you will got for the answer writing. Now, how we'll practice this? You can do this exercise on any time, while eating, while roaming air, while taking a break, etc. So you can have a discussion with your friends, etc. at any time of day. So you need to but practice it daily 5 questions. You need not to think about what is the answer. We will discuss about it when we are going to write the answer and we are sitting in properly and going to write or practicing the right question answer writing. But you have to do this exercise on your own at any time and just have to understand the question. What is the demand of the question? Leave it. Next question. Understand it. What is the demand? Leave it. Next question. In this way. Second aspect is the link with the syllabus. So then many students complain about, sir, we don't know it, the syllabus. We have to try to find out through the syllabus. Then I am going to suggest mug it up. You have to be tip of the tongue. Syllabus should be on your tip of the tongue. This is the one way. Or practice for some questions, at least 50-100 questions. Then automatically your syllabus is going to be mug up by you. You will automatically remember this all kind of syllabus points. Just because practicing in such a way that every time you attempt to link it with the syllabus, you will automatically remember all the points in the syllabus. No need to remember it in a sequence wise. You need to remember the points. Are you getting it? Now we understand the third type. What are the different types of introduction? Then what are the different types? We say we can introduce by using simple as per the question. We can introduce by using the definition or explaining the concept or giving some current affairs, some data, some quotes, reports, etc. And the fifth one is by giving the theme or the representing the theme of the topic. What do you mean by theme of the topics? Let's see through this question. So this question says that assess the importance of panchayat system in India as a part of local government. What is? We have to assess the panchayati system as a part of local government. We have to assess the panchayat system, right? So assessment करायचं आहे, but question is of 250 words and there is a second part of question also which is more important. So we should limit it to the significance of the panchayats. Assessment, we have to assess it, means we have to write the significance and some form of limitations. But look at the type of questions or the number of questions asked here. In this question itself, we have to assess, means write the significance, limitations, and then in the second part, apart from the government grants, what are the sources the panchayats can look out for financing the development projects? So different sources of financing we have to find out. This is the second part. So sources of financing. So there are 3 parts of the question we have to actually write. So one can say that we can only write significance, no problem. But they said assess it. So assessment should be on the both sides. As far as possible, you try to include it. If not possible, at least write the significance and then sources of funding. Major stress should be given on the sources of funding. Then first step, and we understand the question, first step. Second step, link it with the syllabus topic. So devolution of the powers and finances up to the local level. This is the first. And second, important aspect of governance. Because why it is governance question? It becomes governance question because development projects. They do not talk about the functioning of the local self-government, but they talk about the what are the different development projects, and how the local self-government panchayat system can ensure their sources of funding for such a kind of development projects. You're getting it? So it becomes a question of more of a development perspective, governance perspective. Let's begin. So we are saying that we should try to introduce with the linking with the theme of the topic. So what is the theme? Now understand the theme. Constitution has given a theme. Initially, Constitution has a task union government or given the responsibility of the union government for the finances. So union government is enriched with the finances. All the kind of major finances, taxation powers are rest with the union or central list. So union have say over the finances, but actual responsibility of the development is been tasked to the state governments. State governments, it is definitely reflected in the state list. Look at the state list. The health, education, police, right, rural development, watershed development, agriculture, all these subjects are been in a state list. Meaning major developmental responsibility has been given to the state government. Consideration is the unity and integrity of India. So that state has to be depend on the union. Are you getting it? But the similar way, when the 73rd and 74th Amendment Acts come into the picture, they established the Panchayati Raj institutions and urban local governments. Barabar? Now, they have been tasked with such a kind of functions which should be performed at the local level. This is the principle of subsidiarity. The specific level of a function should be, specific type of a function should be performed at a specific level only. Are you getting it? This is called as principle of subsidiarity. So that they have been tasked with like primary education, primary health care, sanitation, water, drinking water. This type of subjects are being given to the Panchayat Raj institution. But now they also need finances. So though the constitution has given task to state government and union government to devolve some funds in terms of grants. But the question asks that besides the grants, what are the different other sources of funding? Are you getting it? So let's understand it. So constitution has specifically said that union government, or for that matter particularly state government. So union government should establish a finance commission so that it can distribute funds among the union and state government. And similarly, state government should establish a state finance commission which will devolve the fund between the state governments and local self-governing bodies, means Panchayat Raj institutions and urban local bodies. Are you getting it? So they have to devolve in such a way. But what happened in actual way? There is every 5 years we see the finance commission. But many states even not established, even after the 30 years of the act, they did not establish the state finance commission. So there is no regular devolution of funds to the Panchayat Raj institution, local self-governments. Result of which is there is always a crunch of finances impacting the development projects. This is the overall theme. So we should not be dependent on the grants. That's what the understanding come out of this picture. That we means Panchayat Raj institution should not be dependent on only grants. They have to look after their own sources of funding. Then what are the other own sources of funding? Yes, first, we can write in a different way, right? We are going to write in this way. So first source of funding, local taxes. In the 11th and 12th schedule, respectively for the Panchayat Raj institutions and the urban local bodies, there are some form of taxes or taxation power has been given, right? So local taxes like property tax, etc. So they can be ensure their source of revenue to the local taxation system. Then next, they can raise loans. There can be loans of two types: general loans. General loans means there is a crunch, what we refer to as a fiscal deficit. So there is a crunch of finances in overall budget, so they can source a revenue or source a loan. Then there is a project specific loans. Let's say there is an overbridge to be built, there is a rural development, so rural roads has to be built, primary health educations or there is some cinema halls, or there is some theaters. So program halls need to be built. So such kind of project specific loans can be raised so that to fulfill the resource demand, finance demand. Then other is the PPP, public private partnership. Through public private partnership also, for example, Jilla Parishad has to build a local mandis at the taluka level, or even at the major mandi at the district level. They has been tasked with the Jilla Parishad or municipalities. They can raise it with the help of PPP. Now they can give on a rent this type of mandis to the vendors, and then they can raise a rent on it, and this rent will be ensured to play the private players' contribution. So thus such kind of projects can be done through the PPP partnership. Then there is a electoral bond, then there is a municipal bond, not electoral bond, municipal bond. These are actually a type of loans. Then there is another community contribution. You can ask the community that such a kind of, let's say, amusement park, garden, etc. has to be raised by the local self-government. So we need some sort of funding. Community will themselves ready to raise some funding. Community contribution. Then there will be help of some NGOs, some debt financing institutions, and there is another factor like CSR. You can always source the revenue from the CSR, because what CSR says, the major companies has to devolve at least 2% of their revenue on the CSR activities, and CSR activities involve health, education, upliftment of vulnerable sections like physically handicapped, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, women, etc. Women empowerment, rural development, agriculture, etc. So these are the issues similar to the subjects mentioned in the 11th and 12th list. So they can always use the CSR funding. So these are the different kind of sources of funding they can always ensure. Now there is a first part of answer also. This is the second part, which I explained the theme. So you can definitely mention the theme in the introduction the way that I have introduced. You can look after it. For example, I have simply said that the financial powers has been raised with the union government, which according to the Finance Commission recommendation will be devolved to the state government, and it has been mandated by the constitution that the state should establish the state finance commission and devolve such a fund to the municipalities and local self-governments, panchayat raj institutions. But mainly due to the lack of implementation of the establishments of the state finance commissions, there is a lack of devolution or the stable funding for these local self-government, and hence the need arises for other sources of funding as well. Or you can address the first part, what is the significance of the panchayat raj institution. Then what is the significance? We all know the significance. For example, the panchayat system significance, principle of subsidiary, I already mentioned. The type of function should be performed at the appropriate level. Not necessary that the water drinking problem should be solved by the union government, right? So the proper type of function should be solved at a proper level. This is principle of subsidiarity. Then local leadership, we all know that how reservation ensures the emergence of local leadership across the section of the society. Then participatory democracy, the more and more accessible to government, the people, that is through the Gram Panchayat, Gram Sabha, the more and more the participation will be ensured. Grassroots democracy through the Gram Sabha, women empowerment through the women reservations, and foundation for democratic structure. For example, election at the gram level, village level. So we can ensure the significance of PRI. Now there is a limitation. We already discussed that there is no proper fund devolution in terms of establishing a state finance commission, and other is that there is no proper functionaries. Major functionaries are state functionaries are on the deputation. So there is no dedicated municipal cadre, etc. So we know about these limitations. This is all about this question. We have understand how to represent that through the diagram, because so that we can represent the entire three parts of question within the word limit and time limit. We have to some sort of introduce the diagram when there is a multiple parts of the question being asked. This is all about this question. Thank you.